Hi everyone! So on my last video I had a few people message me and ask how I managed to get a picture of my dog onto my nails, and that is what I'm going to be showing you today. I'm going to be showing you my nail preparation and application step by step, and then at the end I will show you how I print a picture onto my nails and make it last. So I'm going to start first of all with exactly what I do from beginning to end with my nails. So I have them bare at the moment. They're really horrible. I hate them. You know, there's bits of redness from where I've sort of been pulling at the cuticles and stuff. It's not nice. And I have very wide nail beds and very short nail beds. So for example, if I have really short nails, they look super stubby on me. So I have to have longer nails. I wish I had longer nail beds so that I could have my nails still short, but look long and have the long length look, but I can't. So we work what we've got. Now, for the last 3 years, I have been to the nail salon pretty much consecutively getting acrylic nails for, like I said, the last 3 years. So my nails are very, very weak, soft and brittle. So that's why I've cut them right down. I cannot seem to keep long nails naturally, and I'm going to be applying press-ons. So the first thing I do is get my press-ons. I use these ones. They are the no-file nail tips from Tamika, and I'll put every link that I use, every product, in the description below so that you can go and check them out if you want to. So you get a box full of nail tips like this. And I think I've already used that one, so I'll start from afresh. And the first thing you have to do is find out which size nail you need for which finger. So when we start with the thumb, you would have a look and see if it fits your nail from side wall to side wall, which is the edges of your nail. And this one, number 0, is a little bit too big. Not sure whether you can see, but it does overlap my nail slightly, which we don't want. So we move to the next one, which is number 1, and that one fits pretty much perfectly edge to edge. It's not completely perfect, but if we move to the next size, number 2, you can see that it is quite a lot shorter or narrower than my nail bed. So we go with the one that fits the nail bed the best. Now, you don't want to go for a nail that is too small. So for example, if we go to number 3, you can see that is quite small. And whilst it still will stick to my nail, the fact that it's shaped smaller means that it's far more likely to pop off at some point. So you want a really nice fitting nail that is not too small, and of course not too wide, because that's when you start getting lifting at the edges. So I'm going to go with a number 1 for my thumb. Take that one off. And I'm going to do my left hand first so I can keep the nails in the right order. Otherwise, I will most definitely forget which nail is which. So I'm going to do that process now of just measuring my nails, seeing which one seems to fit best, making sure, most importantly, that it's not too small. So if you start having to press the nail to make it wide enough to fit on the nail blade, you know it's too small. So I'm going back to this one, and I think this one's about right. I'll just try that one. I mean, that seems to fit. It just feels slightly tighter. So really it's just going through. But once you've gone through and done this once, if you write the numbers down, you won't have to go through this process every time. You can just pick the numbers off that you like. Now, the numbers, if you've not done your nails before, are very, very small. I'll see if I can show you on camera. They are just on the tip of the nail. Let's see. So you see that's number 5. So that's how you find your numbers. So yeah, so like I say, I'm just going to go through every single one of my nails, and then I'll come back to you when I've picked them all out. So I've picked them all out now. As you can see, there are differences between your left and right hand. Your finger widths won't be exactly the same on each hand. So just make sure that you're going through, you're checking exactly which nail fits. So yeah, there is a bit of difference there, but now I have it written down for next time. I can just pluck them off and I don't need to worry about sitting measuring them, and you're wasting less time. So the next thing I do, because I cannot paint nails when they are actually on my hands, I will make a right mess. I'll get it all on the skin and it's just not good. So what I have is these. These are little stands that you have a small amount of sort of putty. You can get the nail, you can stick it onto each one so that they will stand there for you while you paint them, and it's just a lot easier, for me at least, than painting when they're on my actual nails. So that's what we're going to do now. Stands come with some putty, or I suppose you could just use blue tack or something, or glue dots, and you just get some out. You don't need a lot. Grab your finger nail, your nail, and then just stick them on to the little holders like that. Now they are magnetic, you can take them off if you want to bring them closer to you for a bit more precision, or you can keep them on the stand, which is what I do. So we'll just, it's a bit too much, but it doesn't matter. We'll just add these nails to the stands and then we can start painting them. So we've got left and right nails all on the stands. Now I don't have many gel polishers at the moment. I did used to have some, but they went a little bit gloopy and horrid. So I've bought some new ones, and these are the colours that I have at the moment. Now because we are coming up on Valentine's Day, I thought let's use a nice bright red. And I think I know the picture that I'm going to be printing on my nail at the end, and that has some red in it, so I think they'll go together quite nicely. I'm not going to be printing on every single nail, so I did that with the buddy nails that I did before, and it was just a bit too much, I think. So I'm going to go for like one feature nail, maybe two, with a picture on it. So I will also need the white, because the nail that I'm going to do the picture on will need a white background, because, you know, it's probably not going to be seen if it's on a darker colour. So I'll keep the white out and we'll get out the red. Now I've got to decide which nail I want the picture to be on. Normally it's the ring finger nail, isn't it? So I may use that nail, I think, for this. In that case, I'm going to paint those white first, just so that I remember which one they are. So the polish that I'm using today is by Loans. Got it off Amazon. It seems to be quite good. Obviously, I have much experience in this, but it seems all right. The reviews are pretty good. So yeah, we'll just get started. I don't have to do any prep on these because the type of nails that they are no file tips. So they've already been buffed. They're quite matte and grainy, and they're not, you know, super shiny. You don't need to add a key to them or anything. So let's just get on with it. So I've got my white polish, and I'm going to do this nail. And this gel polish, obviously I've not had too much experience, but this gel polish seems to go on really nicely, and it seems to self-level as well. So you don't have to be perfect at painting on nails. It seems to level itself, which is great for me because I'm not very good with precision. So you just paint it on, and like I said, you can take these individual ones off just to bring it a bit closer to you. And yeah, like I said, it's self-leveling, I believe, and it's really quite easy to paint on. So that's the white nail ready for printing on. Put those back, and then I will do the rest in red. So now all the nails are painted. As with any gel polish, they have to be cured. I also have the Loans curing lamp, which I'm going to set on top. I'm going to put it on for 90 seconds. And my nails are neatly under there. I'll take some footage and put it on screen now of what the nails look like while they're being cured. So I put these under the lamp for 3 presses of the 90 seconds. They're still slightly tacky, but that's fine because we're putting the top coat on now, and that's when we want to make sure it's perfectly hard and dry. So again, Loans top coat. I'm not affiliated with Loans or anybody. This is simply because I've had a few requests from people asking how I do my nails. And I should say as well, disclaimer, I am not a professional nail technician. So this is just how I do them. It is not how, you know, you should do them or how it is right to do them. It's just how I do them. So before I get loads of comments telling me I'm doing things wrong, this is just simply my way of doing my press on nails. So I'm not going to put any top coat on the white one yet, because that is the one that we're going to be printing on. So I'll leave that alone. Just doing the red ones. And then of course they will need to cure again. Now, because they're not on my nails, it doesn't really matter to me how many times I cure them. I know some people worry about the UV on their fingers and stuff, but because they are on little stands, I can just cure them until I think that they're, you know, hard enough. This lamp that I've got is quite strong, so it seems to cure the top coat really, really quickly. So I shouldn't need much of a curing time on this, but like I said, it doesn't really matter to me because I can just be pressing the button and letting them go for as long as they need to cure. So that's what's happening next. I'll cure them and I'll come back and we'll start prepping my actual horrible nails. Right, so nail prep. I would normally go in with my orange stick, the little wooden slanted manicure stick that you get in most manicure sets, and I would go in and push back my cuticles so that we're exposing even more of the nail bed. And then if there was any excess to trim, I would use my cuticle trimmer to trim it off. As it is, I don't really have much at the moment because it's not that long since I trimmed my cuticles. So there are some areas that I'm going to go into and just trim away, but I don't have to do too much work on that at the minute. If you've not ever done it or had time to do it or not done it for a while, you will need to do this step because we're trying to expose a bit more of the nail plate. We're trying to get rid of the cuticles because they will be a cause of lifting of the nails. So if you put your nail on top of the cuticle, it's probably going to end up lifting and coming away from the nail bed. So that should be your step for prep at the moment. And once that is done, we can move along and do the next step. I'm just going to quickly do mine in any areas that I think need it. But like I said, there's not too much cuticle at the moment because it's not that long since I did it, but it's definitely an important step for prepping your nails. Even if you're just painting them, it just really helps. And they do say that it doesn't matter what glue you use, it doesn't matter what products you use, if the prep is not done properly, that is what's going to cause your nails to lift off and them not to last as long. So I'm just going to carry on doing this and then we'll move to the next step. So when you've trimmed your cuticles and you're happy with them, it's time to move on to filing the surface of the nail. This is going to give us a key so that the nail glue will adhere better to the nail. So you can use an electric file like I've got here, or you can use an emery board. Anything like a normal nail file will do. We're just looking to create a rough surface on the face of the nail. Now I think you should use, is it like 180 to 200 grit if you're just using a nail file for buffing your nails, because it's not going to damage them, it's just going to give a little bit of a rough surface. So we don't want to weaken them as we're doing it, but it's a really important step. So this is my electric one. You put it on and we're just going over the surface of the nail. It is quite loud, but what you're looking for is a sort of cloudy look to your nail. So something a little bit like this. Give it a blow so you can see that it's got a rougher look to it, hopefully, than the others do. So that's what you're looking for, just a little bit of roughness to the nails. I'll do another one while we're here. So just so they're a little bit rougher looking. Now I'll do one quickly with an emery board so that you can see. This is like the rough side. I don't want to use that. I want to use the smoother side. So I think that must be 180. And yeah, just go over your nail. Making sure that you get right up to the side walls, right to the bottom of the nail, until it's like really nice and rough, ready for the nail glue. So I'm going to do that on all of my nails and then we'll come back with the next step. The next step is really, really important. So your hands, your nails, basically all of your skin has oils, and that can really stop adhering of glue. So we need to dehydrate them. Now you can either do this with a bottle of dehydrator, or you can use an alcohol pad like you would find in a first aid kit and just go over the nail with the dehydrator, and that will take away all of the oils that may be left on the surface of the nail. It's very quick and easy to do. You don't have to be like super precise. Just make sure that you're getting up to the side walls and right the way down to where the cuticle is as well. So I've got quite a bit on there. Like I said, don't come at me in the comments if I'm doing this wrong. Tell me by all means, I'd love to learn, but I know there will be some professionals just itching to tell me what I am doing really badly wrong. But so that is basically the dehydration step. Like I said, if you were using the alcohol pad, you would just go over that, and it's really important not to then touch your nails with your fingers after, because you're transferring oils back onto there. But that's a super important step. Like I said, I will leave all the links for what products I've bought in the description below. So the glue that I'm going to be using is a gel type glue. I find this easier because the liquid glues tend to just go everywhere. With the gel glue, it's thicker, so you have more control over where that gel glue goes, and they say it lasts longer. I think again it's just down to the prep. You could probably use the best glue in the world, but if you've not prepped your nails properly, then it isn't going to work. So I've got the Saviland UV free nail glue gel. Important to note that this is not one that you need to cure. There are some glue gels or gel glues that you need to cure under the UV light. This one you don't, and it's supposed to last up to 30 days, but who knows. So I'm going to start with my left hand. I'm going to take my thumb, take off that little piece there. Now, if you had like a shiny nail, I would recommend getting your nail file or your electric nail thing. You can tell I'm not a professional, can't you? And just going like this over the middle of it, just to roughen it up a bit. To be honest, it's good practice. Even if you have these no file tips like I've got here, I still give it a little bit of a key, you know, just to help it along basically. So once you've done that, you get your glue, and we put a decent bead of glue, because this is a thumb as well, we need quite a bit, so I put a decent bit of glue. Now you will definitely get some leaking out of the side walls. I failed to see anybody who manages to put on a fake nail and not do that. But what we're doing it is we're not touching the nail and the glue to the nail bed yet. We are going in at kind of this angle and putting the very edge of the nail underneath where we got rid of those cuticles. So I'm not touching the nail bed yet, can you see? Hopefully. I'm just pushing it in underneath there and lining it up, and then from the back going forward, I then press the nail to the nail plate, and that means that air bubbles don't get trapped if you do it that way. So I'll show you again in a minute because it's quite difficult to demonstrate, but basically you're just pushing in the bottom edge of the nail first, and then sort of rolling it out that way, pressing it out that way, so that any air bubbles will be pushed out. Now, when you're holding it on, I've got quite a firm grip, but I also want to come to each side as well, because I want to make sure that glue's being distributed evenly and that it is coming up right to the edges of the nail as well, so that we don't get any lifting. So some people only hold it for, you know, a few seconds. I give it a really good long hold just to make sure. And you should also note that it's always better to do your nails just before you go to bed, because no matter what the glue says, if it says it cures in or dries in 20 seconds, it's not going to be fully bonded for a few hours. So if you then go and do the pots, do the washing up, put your hands in water, have a bath, you are going to be lessening the chances of these nails lasting as long. So always try and do them before you go to bed. That's a little tip. So I've been holding on to this now for probably a minute, so I'll just let it go. And I actually haven't had any leakage, so I've proved myself wrong there. We've still got 9 nails to go, so let's not, you know, count our chickens, but that's the first nail put on, and you can see immediately just how much difference it makes to how your hands look. You know, these are horrible nails, and it's just so quick and so easy to put a press-on. And like I said, with the right prep, you can make press-ons last probably not as long as acrylics, because that's really strong, but you can make them last quite a long time with the right prep. So I'll go through and do another one. Let's grab the next finger. You can reuse this. It's basically blue tack or white tack. You can reuse it, just making sure that we've got all those bits of glue off there and give it a little file. So that's all the glue off, I think. And now we give it a little file. Now I've noticed there's a little bit of an edge, on there of the nail, so it wasn't cut properly in the factory. So I'm just gonna file that down a little bit, make sure that's off. Right, so I've given it a little file underneath. Now we need our bead of glue. Oh, I hate that when air gets stuck in the glue tube and it all just spurts out at you. But it is very thick and viscous, this stuff, so usually it's easy to control. Right, so again, going in just with the bottom edge, pushing underneath that cuticle line. When I'm happy with the placement, that's when I then roll the nail from the back to the front onto the nail bed. So with the holding now, I like to give it a good squeeze first of all, give it a good hold, and then after a few moments we can start to move side to side and just get those edges. Now you can see I've got a bit of glue leaking out there. It always gets stuck on my fingers as well. I don't know why I'm making this video, to be honest, because I clearly don't really know what I'm doing, but it works for me, so it's bound to work for someone else. I've actually got a bit of glue onto the nail there. That's kind of annoying. Happens sometimes. If that happens with you, you can file it a little bit and just add some more gel. Cure it again and it'll be fine. There's always ways to fix things. It's probably not as straight as I would like it either, but it's bound not to be because I'm doing it on camera. Everything goes wrong when you try and show someone else, doesn't it? But anyway, so yep, just side to side, giving it a good pinch. And now I'm going to do the rest of them. So there they are, absolutely beautiful, nice and well stuck on. So the last thing that I do is when you pull these nails off of the little piece of plastic that they're on, they often end up with a little bit of a sharp tab at the end. So I just go in with a file and very lightly from top to bottom, just file that down so that we're not, if we do it that way, I know that I'll end up scratching off the nail polish. So usually top to bottom or side to side, just to get off the little bit of tab that's still stuck on the end. There might not be, it might not be too bad on the nails you buy or try, but some of these you do have to file off. So it's just like a final little step, and then we'll move on to printing the picture. So this is the printer. It's made by the brand Jolimark, I think that's how you say it. And this is what it looks like at the front. This is where you put your nail in to get it printed onto. So obviously all the instructions are in the box for this. I don't want this to be this is how to use the printer. I'm using this to show you how I do it. So if you do get your printer, don't worry, all the instructions are in the box. It's really quite easy. You just connect it to Wi-Fi and then you download the app. So this is the Jolimark app. There's loads of different presets on there for different designs, depending on what you want. So let's just click on that one, for example. This is the Get Rich Immediately. Happy New Year. It's really cute. And then you can make your own creation. So these are my buddy nails, as you can see. And then we're going to make a new one today. So ring finger. Got some more designs on there you can choose from, or you can click the plus. Go to your photo. I'm going to go for this one, which is a girl that I coloured from a, now what colouring book was it? I think it was Lana Green. Anyway, I coloured this the other week and I really like it, and I thought, oh, that'll be nice for like Valentine's, because she's got a lot of red and she's cute, and I wanted to pick something that I'd coloured just to show you guys. So I'm just lining her up now exactly where I want her on the nail. So I click done, and it's now saved to our little gallery. So I'm going to click on it, click on the nail. Now this is the part where it says to put on the painting glue or the printing glue, whatever it's called, and this comes with the printer. So this is something that will help the ink stick to your nail. So I'm going to paint that just on the white nail that we're going to be printing on. Doesn't need to be a thick layer, just make sure it covers the whole of the nail. And then we have to wait for that to dry for a few minutes. So I'm just covering the entire nail in this. It does feel like a gel polish. It feels like a sticky, tacky sort of gel polish. But we have to wait for that to dry a little bit before we start to print. So it says here 3 minutes. I normally give it a couple of minutes and then I'm too impatient. So I'll leave it to dry for a sec and we will come back. Okay, so I've done that. Yes, it's dry. Now it's saying to put the finger in. So this little pink thing, that thing there, it bounces up and down. So you put your finger in. Once it's in, you press OK. And now there is the picture of my fingernail. So I have to line up the bottom of my nail, or the smile line, I think they call it, with this smile line here. So I need to pull my nail out the machine a bit more, line that up so that that's at the bottom. And then this one, I have to make sure that the top of my nail is down away from the printer so that that line turns green. So it's a little bit fiddly. It's just something you have to get used to. So holding it sort of in that place. And then once you're sort of where you're meant to be, we put start identifying. Now you can remove your finger from the machine at this point because it wants to know whereabouts you want your image. So I'm going to move this across to where I want it to be on my nail. And usually I found during like trial and error with this, you have to be a little bit more of a wide border around your nail than it actually is. So I'm going to click in the corner depict, and then it's going to ask for my nail shape. So instead, oh, back, messed it up. So instead of just doing it exactly around the white nail, I'm going to do it just a bit away from it because I've just noticed that it will leave a white border otherwise. So I'm just drawing around my nail pretty much with a gap between where the nail ends. Press done, and then I've got to put my finger in, otherwise it's going to start printing. So you put your finger in, press done, and then you do get the chance just once again to line your nail up with your blue outline that we've just drawn. So I pop my nail in the outline. I'm pressing it down until that line becomes green. It's really fiddly, and just making sure it's well centered, and then you have to keep it completely still. So we press start. It's very quick, under 10 seconds that took to print, and there she is. That's pretty good. So you see, if I'd have just done the outline to the very edge of my actual nail, it probably would have had a white border around it, because that's what I noticed when I did it before. So there she is. She's quite small on this little nail, but she's perfectly printed. Really, really pleased with that. Now the ink is wet, so do not touch it for a while. Let it air dry. Be careful with it. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to attempt to do my other nail. There we go. That's turned out lovely. There she is again, both nails together. The red on the hat is a little bit less obvious on this finger, but it's probably because I was moving it a little bit. But anyway, that's how we do it. So the final step, once it's dry, which this one is now, the ink's dry, that's when you come in and do a top coat, cure it, and that's it, nails done. I know it seems like quite a process, but you only have to do it, what, once a month? Or, I mean, you can change it however many times you want during the month, but yeah. So I'll do the top coat and I'll come back to you at the end with final thoughts. So they're done. I hope you've enjoyed watching how I do my nails, and at the end how I printed a little colouring page of mine onto my nail. It's turned out really, really nicely, and yeah, they look great, and I've not had to spend £30 to £40 at the nail bar to get my nails done, and they should hopefully last a while. So any questions, please let me know below and I'll try my best to answer them. Any criticisms, as constructive criticism is always welcome. If there's anything I'm doing that I could be doing better, I'd love for you to tell me. And yeah, I just hope that you've enjoyed the video, and I will see you soon on Colour with Claire.